I'm going to share screen. Today, I think it's all about revision, right? I think your end of year exams are really coming very soon. I think it's week three. It's week three of term four already. So very quickly, I think in another 5 weeks' time, you will probably be doing your end of year exam. Okay. So what I'll do today is usually we will do half of the questions first, and then we'll have a game. And after the game, we will continue with whatever that we have to finish off. Okay. So usually what I play with my students in class would be Blooket. Are you all familiar with Blooket? Anybody
No,
knows?
no,
No?
I do
Okay.
not know.
All right.
What's Kahoot?
It's not really similar to Kahoot, but it's a little bit different because it does have a game. Okay, Kai Han say you know what's Blooket. Later on, I think I'll give you some simple instructions so you know what to
Okay,
do. Yeah.
now I know. I just remembered.
Oh, okay. All right. I think mock exam two is a lot focus on plant transport system. Okay, so we'll have a look at this question first, the first one. An outer ring of the stem between positions X and Y of a plant is removed. The tubes which carry food are removed while the tubes that carry water remain. Okay, so basically what they're trying to say is that water carrying tubes, okay, we still have it, but food carrying tubes, we do not, right? Okay, so because of that, what do you think is the appearance of the stem? So where are the food produced? The food are produced in the leaves, right? So
Yeah.
when the leaves produce the food, they try to send it down. But because the food carrying tube is removed, so when they remove the food carrying tube, can the food be transported down?
No,
No. So what happened? What do you think will happen to X then?
it
Because
will
the
clot. It will clot.
yes, so it will gather here and it will probably swell up like that. So it can be either this or this. This one is definitely not. Okay. So what about Y? Because Y transports water. So where does the water come from? Okay, water usually is transported up from the roots, right? So the roots are here. So, but the water carrying tubes are still intact. Okay, there are still water carrying tubes over here. So what happened is that because there are water carrying tubes over there, therefore the water will be successfully transported up to the rest of the plants like that, which means that the water carrying tube will not swell, right? Okay,
Yes.
anybody has questions so far? Do you understand this part?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so therefore this one, the answer would be
A.
A. Yes. Okay. I think let me take a look at some of your answers. Let me see. Okay, not everyone has done their homework, like I realize, huh? Okay, anybody have not gotten this correct? You had issues with this question.
Teacher,
No? Yes?
I cannot write it down for some reason.
What do you mean by you can't write it? You can't annotate, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, does the teacher allow you to annotate on the screen?
I do not know, this is my first time.
Oh,
No,
okay. Wait, Tedman. Oh, Tedman,
no.
you're trying out the lesson today. I see. It's your first lesson. Usually what I do in my class, because like I said, today I'm relieving your teacher. Your teacher is actually teacher Ivy. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know how she actually conducts it, but for my classes, usually I don't allow students to annotate. Okay, unless necessary. So yeah, so I think one of your classmates here, Marissa, shared that the teacher also does not, your teacher, who is teacher Ivy, also does not allow you to annotate. Okay, one very simple reason for that is because if everybody were to annotate, then it's gonna get a bit messy. And also at the same time, uh usually when you write on the screen, it will disappear. Only when I write using my pen, it will stay. And we will keep the annotated version. Okay, I think I have one more student coming in, Skylar. Okay, so what I was saying just now is that we will usually put the annotated version onto your student account again after today's lesson. So if you in any case, if you want to go back to revisit certain notes or certain concepts, you can always refer back to the annotated slides. Okay, Tedman asked, what do you mean by homework? So because before you come to class, right, you will be expected to do your homework. Okay, there will be homework on your student account, and the questions will be based on your homework actually that we are going through. So it's always good for you to try the questions first, because we want you to, have a sense of how the question is like, and then you at least you try that. Then after that, you realize that, oh, maybe there are some misconceptions which you're not sure about that your teacher will then go through during the tutorial. Okay, so basically that's the rationale of giving you homework.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Are we clear so far?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, okay, we'll move on to the second question. Second question is also about transport system. I think it's a P5 topic. You should be quite familiar with that. Okay. So here, Natalie conducted an experiment using the following setups. Okay. And then we have three different setups, and you notice that okay, so these are the ones. See, all the leaves were removed. Okay, no leaves were removed. Some leaves were removed, right? And then all of them, so basically this, you have to, in any experiment, identify the change variable. So of course, the change variable in this case, in any experiment, there should only be one change variable, right? So in this one, in this case, the change variable is the number of leaves. Okay, the number of leaves on the respective plants, because everything else is the same. If you notice, see, water mixed with red dye, water mixed with red dye, everything is the same. Okay, only the number of leaves is different. Okay, so after a day, she made 3 cut points on the stem of each plant as shown by the dotted line above. And she observed the presence of water mixed with red dye on the cut surfaces. Okay, so that means after that, she then cut. Okay, she cut 3 lines. So these are the 3 lines. See, maybe I use another color. Orange. Okay, so these are the lines that she cut. Right? So what does she want to find out? She wanted to find out if. Now remember this one, when you see these 3 words, to find out is basically stating the aim of the experiment. So what does she want to find out? Usually the aim of the experiment, if the change variable affects the measured variable. Okay, so over here CV actually means change variable. Okay, here MV is actually measured variable. All right. So we have already identified the change variable, right? Which one is the change variable?
The leaf.
Leaf, yes. Okay, the number of leaves of a plant. Yeah, the number of leaves. See, we've already identified the change variable, the number of leaves. And then, so this will be the change variable, CV. Okay. Then affects how quickly the water travels up the stem. So this one will be the measured variable. Okay, so number of leaves is the change variable. How quickly the water travels up the stem, that's your measured variable. So in this case, the answer would be C. Okay, now you must be wondering, how does this person identify how fast it travel? So there are 3 cut points, am I right? Okay, so these 3 cut points, the water will go up to the first cut point, then the second, then the third. But for the water to go up, there must be the leaves there to lose the water, because water is lost through the stomata of the leaves. So of course, the one with more leaves, okay, the one with more leaves will actually enable the water to go up faster. Okay, this one has got 2, this one has got 4. So by right, if I were to make a prediction, okay, if I were to come up with a hypothesis, I will say that the plant in setup B allowed the water to travel up the fastest, because there are so many leaves, which means that the water loss will be fast. And when water loss is fast, it will be able to allow the water to travel up faster. Okay, so setup B will be first, and then setup C will be second, and setup A will be third, because there's no leaves to pull it up. So it's quite hard for the water to go up, maybe only through the stem. I think there's someone typing in the chat. Let me see. What is a hypothesis? Very good question. A hypothesis means that you actually predict what the results of the experiment is. So if you were to ask me, right, I didn't conduct this experiment before, but by looking at this information, I can predict, or my hypothesis can be that setup B will allow the water to travel up the stem the fastest. So that will be my hypothesis. Okay. All right. Any questions with this? If there aren't, then I'm going to move on to the next question. Yeah. Anybody? No? Okay. No, then I'll move on. Siti made the following statements about a plant. Okay. The anther produces pollen grains. Is it true or false? Okay, now always read the question carefully. It's asking for true. So true statement, you can actually put a tick. Okay. This question is on reproduction in plants. Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, reproduction in plants, right? So let's see if the statement works. The anther produces pollen grains. Does the anther produce pollen grains? Anybody wants to try? Yes or no? Tedman?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Okay. Anther produces pollen grains. Number 2, or statement B, ovary develops into seeds.
No.
No. So what develops into seeds, Jia Ping? I think Jia Ping said no. Yes. Okay. The ovules of the flower develops into seeds. Or you can say the ovary develops into fruits. Okay. The flower appears first. Just to be a bit more careful, let's check all the statements. The flower appear before the fruits. Is that true?
No.
No. Really?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, the flower has to be germinated to become a fruit. The flower has to be germinated. Do we germinate the flower?
No.
What do we
We
germinate?
germinate the seedling.
Yes, so the seed, right? We germinate the seed. So instead of the flower has to be germinated, the flower has to be pollinated and fertilized to become a fruit. Okay, so we are looking for true statement. So we are looking for ticks. If we are looking for false statement, you can put a cross on top. Okay, but this one we are looking for true statements. So which of the statements are true? Is basically A and C. Right? A and C are true. Answer is B. Okay? Yeah. All right, shall we move